12 of the fantasy basketball season, and here's a few centers I would look to add on the waiver wire this week. The first guy is Isaiah Stewart of the Detroit Pistons. So Stewart, this is the third week in a row now. He's been on the waiver wire column, and he's been playing good basketball for this Piston team. And this Piston team, they're obviously in a rebuild. They're one of the worst teams in all of the NBA, and they're going to play the young guys, like I've been saying over the last few weeks, and with the trade rumors and them already buying out Blake Griffin, that's a known fact that these young guys are going to play. So Stewart on the season, he's ranked 198 in fantasy basketball. 5.6 points a game, 5.9 rebounds, 0.7 assists a game, a block a game, 67% from the foul line and 56% from the field for Stewart. But in the last few weeks, he's ranked number 63 in this time. 8 points a game, 6.5 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 1.3 blocks, and 71% from the field. So Stewart, he's a big physical center. He's a guy that gets a lot of putbacks and garbage buckets, and he's shooting at a great 70% from the field in the last few weeks. He's going to get a couple block shots, and he's got a knack for rebounding as well. And right now, he's playing about 25 minutes a game, is Stewart. March 4th versus the Knicks, 10 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist. March 11th at Charlotte, 7 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. And March 13th at the Brooklyn Nets, 9 points, 8 rebounds, 2 steals, 3 blocks, and 57% from the field. So his stat lines, they've been pretty solid, getting about 8 and 8 a game the last couple weeks and a few blocks. And the minutes, they're just going to go up from here, in my opinion, for Stewart. I know he's a young player and he's been in some foul trouble, but if he could get out of that bad habit of early fouls, he's going to play more minutes and definitely have more fantasy value. And right now, he's available in 90% of fantasy leagues, so I will go out there and get him. The second center is Moses Brown, another young guy here for the OKC Thunder. And we've seen the youth movement with the Thunder over the last couple seasons, trading away their big players. And Moses Brown, he's been pretty solid the last few games on the season. He's ranked 316 is Brown, 5.1 points a game, 4 rebounds, 0.4 assists, 61% from the foul line, 65% from the field for Brown. But the last few weeks, he's ranked 84th in this time. 10 points a game, 8.3 rebounds, a block a game, 85% from the foul line, and 63% from the field. So Moses Brown, he's a young center, and he's got a lot of athleticism. He could fly around the rim, and he gets a lot of rebounds and putbacks. And this guy, he's definitely a high flyer. He's definitely athletic, and if he could get a jump shot and more coaching under his belt, I think he'll be a great fantasy player and a good project and player here for this OKC Thunder team. So Moses Brown, the last few games in extended minutes. March 11th versus Dallas, 8 points, 12 rebounds, a block. March 13th versus the New York Knicks, 9 points, 9 rebounds, a steal, and a block. And then March 14th versus the Memphis Grizzlies, 13 points, 4 rebounds, an assist, a steal, and a block. So he's getting block shots. He's shooting a good percentage, and he's getting the rebounds. And right now, he's available in 95% of fantasy leagues, and that should go up even more, especially if they trade Al Horford away within the next 10 days before the NBA trade deadline. So Moses Brown, he's a guy to go out there and get, and a guy to keep an eye on. The next center is Robert Williams of the Boston Celtics. I think for a month straight now, Williams has been on the ad list at the center position, and on the season, he's ranked 90th in fantasy basketball, 7.1 points a game, 6 rebounds, 1.2 assists, 1.6 blocks, 64% from the foul line, and an awesome 72% from the field. So Williams, he's a guy that's all layups and dunks pretty much underneath there for this Celtic team. But he's helping fantasy owners and this Celtic team a lot. And in the last couple weeks, he's ranked 18th in this time with 10.3 points a game, 8 rebounds, 2.5 assists, a whopping 3.8 blocks a game, 69% from the foul line, and 76% from the field. So Robert Williams, he's getting easy buckets. He's been a good rebounder, and his shot blocking ability is out of control right now. And he's a player still available in half of fantasy leagues at 50%. March 4th versus Toronto, 10 points, 7 rebounds, an assist, 3 blocks. March 11th at the Brooklyn Nets, only 2 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, but a whopping 6 blocks. And then last night at Houston, in only 19 minutes, this guy put up a monster game. 16 points, 13 rebounds, and 3 blocks. So the thing with Williams, he needs playing time. And the only downside here, they're playing him about 20, 23 minutes a game at most as the Celtic team. But in my opinion, he's the best center on this Celtic team. I know he's not the traditional big man nowadays where he stretches the floor. He's more the old school ground and pound center who's going to get to the hoop and dunks and layups and block shots. But Robert Williams, he's helping the Celtic team, and he's definitely helping fantasy owners. And I've been saying for weeks, hopefully they unleash him more big minutes and contribute even more for fantasy owners and the Celtic team. The next center is Dwight Howard of the Philadelphia 76ers. So Dwight Howard each and every season, you think he'll never have fantasy value at all, but he finds a way. And now with Joel Embiid with his latest injury, a bone bruise in his knee, he's out 2 to 3 weeks, and Dwight Howard and Tony Bradley are going to take over the center minutes here for this Sixer team. But Dwight Howard's the ad in this time right now. He's available in 70% of fantasy leagues, even though he's been added in 6% so far this week here is Howard. On the season, he's ranked 227 with 6.4 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, 53% from the line, which was never a specialty of him, and 59% from the field. But the last couple weeks, he's ranked 117 in fantasy basketball, 10.4 points a game, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block a game, 58% from the foul line, and 71% from the field for Howard. So you know what you're going to get from Howard. You're going to get about 8 to 10 points a game. You're going to get about 10 to 12 rebounds per game. And now with the expanded minutes for Howard, about 18 to 25 minutes a game, he's going to be pretty decent, I believe. March 11th at Chicago, 18 points, 12 rebounds, 1 steal, 2 blocks. March 12th at Washington, 6 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. And last night versus the San Antonio Spurs, 8 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and a block. So Howard, he's putting up about that 8 and 8 and a block right now. And if you need some center help, just go out there and get Howard. He's going to play the minutes. It's going to be only 2 or 3 weeks, but he's a good short-term ad for a big man, especially in 12-team leagues or deeper. And like I said, he's available in 70% of fantasy leagues. And fifth and final center, I will look to add on waivers this week's Justin Patton of the Houston Rockets. So Patton, he's been getting about 25 minutes a game, and we know Christian Wood's coming back soon, but I think Patton's still going to play major minutes. He's still going to have a role on this Rocket team that's going with a lot of young guys right now. And Patton, he's still going to be decent, I think. On the season, he's ranked 305 in fantasy basketball, 6.8 points a game, 4.6 rebounds, 1 assist, 1.2 steals, 75% from the foul line, and 43% from the field. But the last couple weeks, he's ranked 66th in this time, 7.2 points a game, 5.8 rebounds, 1.8 steals, 1.4 blocks, 2.2 steals, a 3 a game. And the only down thing for him is 37% from the field. So Patton, he could have hit the 3 ball, 1.5 a game. He's getting rebounds. He's got a knack for blocking shots, and he's available in 93% of fantasy leagues. And this Rocket team, they're going nowhere. They've lost 16 in a row, and we're going to see the youth movement and a lot of young guys playing for this team. Like I mentioned in the other waiver wire videos, KJ Martin Jr. and Kevin Porter Jr. Now Justin Patton, the third Rocket this week you should add. In the last couple games, it's been pretty decent for him. March 12th at Utah, 13 points, 5 rebounds, an assist, 3 steals, and a block. And then last night at Boston, 7 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 blocks, and a 3. So Patton, his shot blocking ability is pretty good. He's getting some rebounds, and the steals have been good as well, having 3 steals a couple nights ago. So Patton, in more deeper leagues, he's worth an add in 14-team leagues or deeper. But he's a player that's been getting about 25 to 30 minutes a game. And even with Wood coming back, he's still going to have value and get some playing time at about 20 minutes a game. So that's a few centers I will look to add on waivers here in Week 12 of the fantasy basketball season.